Hey Vsauce, Michael here, and today we are going
What's
to
up,
talk
Michael?
about why
How you
we
doing?
dream. What's going on inside our brains? The scientific study of dreaming is called onirology, and for most of history it didn't
That's
really
cool.
exist because you can't hold a dream. It's difficult to measure a dream. You can't taste it. You can't see other people's
Can't
dreams.
really
And if you ask
experience
them to
it.
tell you what they dreamt, the results are almost always unreliable. In fact, it's estimated that we forget 95% of the dreams we have, especially within the first 10 minutes of having them. But then, in
That's wild.
1952, something amazing happened.
So how do you study something at all if you only remember literally 5% of it? Like 5% of the occurrences of that thing are observable. The rest of them are unobservable. Like how do you even study that?
Researchers at the University of Chicago found this. It's a unique type of electrical activity that occurs during a certain stage of a person sleeping. When
That's cool.
researchers awoke people during this stage, they almost always reported that they had been dreaming. Also, at the same time, during this stage, people's eyeballs are going crazy, rapidly darting all over the place underneath their eyelids. You can actually see this happening if you watch people sleep,
That's
like I
facts,
usually
facts.
do.
You can definitely see
During
that.
REM sleep, some pretty bizarre stuff happens. If you look at the electrical activity of a brain that is in REM sleep, it almost exactly mimics the way the brain acts when it's awake. The biggest difference being that the production of chemicals inside the brain, like norepinephrine, serotonin, and histamine, is almost completely blocked. And that causes the muscles to stop moving, which is why you can dream about flying or running around or fighting ninjas, but your body doesn't move.
So
People who
like
have a disorder
disengages
achieving
your mech
complete
suit, you know
REM
what I'm saying?
atopia move around in their sleep and act out their dreams. They can even get out of bed and sleepwalk. Oh, before we move forward, I should say two things. One is that it's possible to wake up and not be able to move your body because you're still in REM atopia. You're completely conscious and you
Rheumatopia.
know that you're awake, but your body is not ready to move. On the flip side, you
Sleep
can also be
paralysis.
inside a dream and know that you're dreaming. This
I be
phenomenon
doing
is
that all
known
the
as
time.
lucid dreaming, and it's particularly attractive because while I'm in a lucid dream, I can make conscious decisions about what I do.
For
I can
sure.
go fly to wherever I want, or I can have a tea party with Abraham Lincoln. I'm in control, but achieving a lucid dream is quite elusive.
I do it all the
Howcast
time.
has a
It's not
great
that
video, which
elusive.
I've put in the description, that gives some tips and tricks on how to achieve one.
This is exactly how I do it. I don't know necessarily if anybody can do it this way. I think that I have some issues with sleep and I'm not always entirely asleep. But what typically happens for old buddy, old pal Jacob is I'll be sleeping and I'll be dreaming. And then I'll just like logically process. Like somebody in the dream will be like, you have to go here. I'll be like, why? And I'll be like, because you have to. And I'll be like, but why? And then they'll be like, and then I'll be like, in the dream, I'll be like, this is a dream. And then I'll wake up. Like if you acknowledge the fact that it's a dream while you're dreaming, then you'll wake up. But if I don't acknowledge the fact that I'm dreaming, then I just decide what I'm gonna do next. And then I can like literally change whatever I want. It's awesome. It's just like Inception when they just like build buildings out of nowhere. I can do that shit in a dream. It's awesome.
Researchers were able to deprive mice of REM sleep by using this inverted inside a tub of water, way up to the tippy top, meaning that the mouse was only able to sit right on top of this little tiny surface. When that happens, the mouse can still fall into non REM sleep, but as soon as they reach REM sleep and their muscles relax, they
They'll fall
fall
into the
off the
water.
platform into the water, waking up. What they found was that when mice are not allowed to achieve REM sleep, they have an incredible amount of trouble remembering things. This happens in humans too. If you have people remember word pairs and then you don't allow them to sleep, the next day their memory for that stuff is incredibly terrible. But memory and REM does not stop
That's
there.
wild.
If a person learns a difficult new task during the day, say a new instrument,
So like REM sleep is seems to be important in converting long short-term memory into long-term memory, I guess, would be the takeaway from that.
or a new type of difficult puzzle, you can measure the electrical activity in their brain while they do that. And then, while they sleep that night, whether they know it or not, their brain replays those electronic impulses. Many popular theories about
That's
why we
weird.
dream are variations on the idea that while we sleep, the unconscious part of our brain is busy organizing memories and strengthening connections from the day before that we need in the future while getting rid of the junk that would otherwise clog the brain. Now,
How do you
So the
get rid
theory
of the
goes,
junk?
these electrical impulses are detected by our conscious brain, and our cortex freaks out and doesn't know what it means, and so it tries its best to create a cohesive story, creating a dream. This would explain
That's
why dreams are often so
possible.
fantastic and seemingly random.
I feel
They're
like
not
that's
supposed to
too
make sense. They're not an actual message from our
illogical of
brain.
an answer,
It's
though.
just the results of our cortexes trying to synthesize the noise coming from all the work being done back in the unconscious. Under this way of thinking, dreams are an epiphenomenon. They're not a primary process that has a purpose. Instead, they're the accidental result of a more important process going on behind the conscious
I would
brain.
say that's
But
probably
some
the case no
researchers
matter
don't
what.
believe that. They believe that dreams serve a primary purpose, and that purpose is to prepare us for threats. They think this because the most prevalent emotions felt during dreams are negative, abandonment, anger, and the most common of all, anxiety. The theory goes like this. Back when we were early humans especially, we had no idea what kind of threats we might encounter during the day. And so, to prepare us, our brain would simulate anxieties while we slept to make us better prepared for that feeling in the real world. So people who had terrifying dreams were better at dealing with anxiety in the real world and had stronger genes. Alright, so the theories we discussed today are quite
I mean, that's a really weird theory. That's like a big stretch. I've never personally heard that, but I feel like that's a really, really weird theory. I wonder how many, like, what percentage of people that study dreams and sleep believe that theory as opposed to the commonly, like, belief theory.
popular, but they don't really enjoy a consensus. Not everyone agrees on them, and they barely scratch the surface of scientific thought about dreams. But that's kind of the cool thing about dreams.
For sure.
Think of it like this. Here is the Eagle
We don't even
Nebula,
really know why
a
we have to
giant
sleep,
structure in outer space 6,500 light years away.
let alone
But despite
dream,
its
you know?
distance, we pretty much know what it's made out of. We know that it's 100 trillion kilometers tall. We know what caused it, and we know where it's going to be in 750 million years. But last night, I had dreams, and no one really knows why or for what reason. And that's
Facts,
pretty
facts.
cool, and that's why, thanks for watching.
Hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace out.